Early 2021, in a small town in Brazil, residents were left terrified after multiple sightings of a werewolf-like creature were reported. The creature was described as a tall, muscular humanoid with a canine-like face, long claws and fur covering its body. The sightings were so frequent and widespread that the local government decided to impose a nighttime curfew to protect the residents. The panic was triggered by a video that went viral on social media showing what appeared to be a werewolf walking on two legs through the streets of the town. The video was reportedly shot by a group of teenagers who were out at night and came across the creature. The footage, although blurry and shaky, shows a dark, humanoid figure walking towards the camera before disappearing into the darkness. The werewolf sightings sparked a wave of fear and speculation among the residents, with many believing that the creature was a supernatural entity or a cursed human. Some even speculated that the werewolf was a product of a government experiment gone wrong or a result of the town's proximity to a nearby military base. The local authorities were quick to respond to the situation, dispatching a team of police officers and military personnel to investigate the sightings. Oddly enough, around this same time, residents throughout Brazil reported that they witnessed teams of military officials patrolling the street at night, with one resident saying that they created a curfew so that they could hunt this creature down without being seen. However, no evidence was found to support the claims, and the team concluded that the sightings were likely a hoax or a case of mass hysteria. Despite the lack of evidence, the werewolf sightings continued and the local government decided to impose a nighttime curfew. The curfew required all residents to be indoors by 10 in the evening, and anyone caught violating the curfew would face fines and possible imprisonment. Although the curfew was soon lifted, residents who lived close to nearby military bases said that they were certain that they had some involvement, and questioned whether something was released from one of the nearby bases, and that military officials then had to lock everyone inside their homes so that they could hunt and track it down. After the military came into the area, residents said that the werewolf sightings decreased dramatically. Legends of the werewolf date back to some of the oldest known mythologies all around the world, with accounts of attacks from shape-shifting men into dogs even being recorded in the modern day. Many of these reported encounters often overlap with similar claims of large humanoid dog-like creatures with bright red eyes known for their vicious wolf-like savagery. The 1987 Northern Michigan encounter of Luther. Back in August of 1987, the owners of a small wooden cabin claimed that their cabin had been attacked in the night by a large animal they presumed to have been a bear. Unsure of what the animal was and needing information surrounding the vandalism to provide to insurance companies, the owners then contacted the Department of Natural Resources from Baldwin, Michigan. After waiting around for some hours, several investigators from the field office arrived at the cabin and claimed that they were interested in examining the damage to the cabin to verify the animal attacks. Several investigators from the field office arrived at the cabin and claimed that they were interested in examining the damage to the cabin to verify the animal attacks. Although the owners originally believed the large animal to have been a bear, the gathered evidence from the game warden's investigation proved that the animal scratches were not from a typical bear vandalism and was most likely something else entirely. According to the Department of Natural Resources, the tracks and the claw marks left behind at the cabin more closely matched that of a very large dog. Surrounding the cabin and near the nearby muddy pathways were footprints of large dog tracks. On the windows of the cabin were prints of equally as large muddy paws that went as high as 7 feet, and different parts of the roof of the cabin appeared to have also had evidence of muddy footprints. Additionally, closer examination showed that the frames of the windows and the doorway appeared to have been chewed in an attempt of the animal to have gained entrance to the cabin in the night, a behavior uncommon of wolves in the region. Even more peculiar, areas of the footprints seemed to reach up on the wall past 7 feet in height, meaning that the animal would have had to walk on its hind legs and be at a height exceeding 7 feet when standing. An official quote on the event is recorded as the following. Upon closer scrutiny, it was determined that the damage to the cabin had been done by a very large dog. It appeared that the animal had chewed into the wood frames of the building and the door screening in an attempt to gain entrance to the cabin. Officers found huge dog tracks all around the cabin, paw prints on the windows, and deep grooves made by a dog's teeth in the wood around the door and window. The damage inflicted was found to not be the work of an average dog, but one which was very large and capable of standing up and reaching 7 feet up to the higher window levels. It didn't take long for the story of the cabin's destruction by a large dog to have reached the nearby town, with many of the locals soon making their way up to the cabin to see the evidence of the attack for themselves. Many of the local hunters and tour guides supported the claims that the prints and the attacks had to have been made by a large dog or wolf, and that the scratch marks were atypical of a standard bear attack. Several hunters offered to hunt down the creature for the owners of the cabin, whereas others believed that an ancient dire wolf could have been the culprit. This creature has been reported in various parts of the world, but mainly in North America. It is described as a creature that has the head and upper body of a wolf and the lower body of a human. The first recorded sighting of the dogman dates back to the 1700s when French explorers reported seeing a creature with the head of a wolf and the body of a man in what is now known as Wisconsin. However, it wasn't until the late 1980s that the term dogman was coined by a radio host in Michigan who received reports of sightings from local residents. The dogman is often described as being around 7 feet tall and weighing up to 400 pounds. It is said to have sharp teeth, glowing eyes, and the ability to move quickly and silently. Many witnesses have reported feeling a sense of intense fear when encountering the creature, leading some to speculate that it may have supernatural origins. There have been several notable encounters with the dogman in recent times. In 1987, a man named Steve Cook claimed to have had a face-to-face encounter with the creature while walking his dog in a park in Michigan. He described the creature as being around 7 feet tall and having yellow eyes that seemed to glow in the dark. As of right now, people still report encountering the creatures, leaving them terrified and questioning what it was that they encountered. There are reports that Leonardo da Vinci went missing for 2 years inside a cave. Da Vinci was known for his fascination with caves and their geological formations, and some have theorized that he perhaps had a profound experience inside one of them that changed his life. There are several legends and stories that have circulated over the years regarding Da Vinci's supposed cave experience. One such story claims that Da Vinci discovered a cave while exploring the countryside near his hometown of Vinci, Italy. He supposedly entered the cave and became so entranced by its beauty that he lost track of time and spent 2 years living inside it. This story has been shared for years, with people speculating about what he found and suggesting that whatever was inside the cave changed the trajectory of his life. Caves have fascinated humans for 1,000 years and continue to be a source of wonder and intrigue, and some have suggested that Da Vinci may have visited that cave near his hometown multiple times. Caves often contain some of the most spectacular and unique geological formations in the world, such as stalactites and stalagmites, underground rivers, and stunning crystal formations. Those who believe in this story suggest that this environment may have helped with his painting or could have been a place where he felt most at home. Historical researchers said that the reason for his disappearance was due to engaging in a relationship that was frowned upon by the authorities, and so in order to lay low, he lived inside this cave system for several years. Experts have said the story is hard to track down, but noted that this could have been a case of other artists being jealous. And so, in order to bring Da Vinci down, they created a fictional story to ruin his reputation. Historical experts have said that this is the most believable scenario and said that a world-renowned artist, engineer, and inventor wouldn't have disappeared for 2 years without any explanation or reason. While Da Vinci did have a lifelong fascination with natural phenomena, including caves, it is hard to track down this story and the reason for why he may have done this. Interestingly, Leonardo da Vinci was not only a talented artist, but also a brilliant inventor and engineer. His fascination with flying and the mechanics of flight led him to design and create numerous flying machine inventions. These designs were inspired by his observations of birds in flight and his understanding of the principles of physics. One of Leonardo's most well-known flying machine inventions is his ornithopter. This was a machine that attempted to mimic the flapping motion of bird wings to achieve flight. His design featured a set of wings made of wood and cloth that were operated by a series of pulleys and levers. Although the ornithopter was never built in Leonardo's lifetime, it has since been tested by modern-day engineers and shown to be theoretically possible. Another of Leonardo's flying machine inventions was the aerial screw, also known as a helicopter. The aerial screw consisted of a platform with a central pole, from which was suspended a screw-like rotor that was powered by a hand crank. The rotor would spin and lift the platform off the ground, allowing it to fly. While the aerial screw was also never built in Leonardo's time, It is considered to be one of the earliest designs for a helicopter. Leonardo also designed and built a glider that was inspired by the shape of a bird's wings. This glider was made of wood and had a span of 33 feet. It was designed to be launched from a high point and glide through the air, allowing the pilot to steer using his body weight. In addition to these flying machines, Leonardo also designed numerous other inventions, including a parachute, a diving suit, and a machine that could be used to cut threads in screws. Many of these designs were far ahead of their time and would not be built or successfully implemented until centuries later. Leonardo's flying machine inventions were a testament to his ingenuity and creativity. While many of his designs were never built during his lifetime, they served as an inspiration for future generations of inventors and engineers. Today, his designs are still studied and admired by people around the world, and they continue to inspire new innovations in the field of aviation. Leonardo da Vinci is one of the most famous and celebrated figures in history. Born in 1452 in the small town of Vinci, Italy, he was a polymath who excelled in fields such as painting, sculpture, architecture, engineering, mathematics, and astronomy. His achievements and contributions to various fields were so immense that he is widely considered one of the greatest minds in human history. Da Vinci's artistic career spanned over 5 decades, during which he produced some of the most iconic and influential works in the history of art. He is most famous for his paintings, including the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, and the Vitruvian Man. These works are renowned for their beauty, complexity, and technical mastery. In addition to his artistic achievements, Da Vinci was also a prolific inventor and engineer. He designed and sketched numerous machines, devices, and technologies that were far ahead of his time. Da Vinci's contributions to the field of science and mathematics were equally significant. He conducted numerous experiments and made observations in the fields of anatomy, botany, geology, and optics. He also made important contributions to the study of mathematics, including the discovery of the golden ratio and the application of perspective in geometry. Despite his many accomplishments, Da Vinci was a somewhat enigmatic figure. He was known for his eccentricities and unconventional behavior, which sometimes caused him to be misunderstood or underestimated. He was also known to be a deeply introspective and contemplative person, often spending long periods of time in solitude to reflect on his ideas and observations. Da Vinci passed away in 15/19 at the age of 67. His legacy has endured to this day, and his contributions to art, science, and technology continue to inspire and influence generations of people around the world. His genius and creative spirit are a testament to the limitless potential of human ingenuity and imagination. The Mona Lisa, painted by Leonardo da Vinci in 16th century, is one of the most famous works of art in the world. It is known for its enigmatic smile, which has captivated viewers for centuries. However, there is more to the painting than just the smile. Many experts believe that there are hidden messages within the painting which have been the subject of much debate and speculation. One of the most commonly discussed theories is that there are letters and numbers hidden within the painting. Specifically, many people believe that the letters LV and CE are hidden in the eyes of the Mona Lisa. Some have suggested that these letters are Leonardo's initials, while others believe that they represent an abbreviation for Leonardo da Vinci's portrait. There are also some who believe that there is a series of numbers hidden within the painting. In particular, some have suggested that the numbers 72-74 are hidden within the landscape in the background of the painting. Some have interpreted these numbers as a reference to the age of the subject, while others have suggested that they may be related to the date on which the painting was completed. Another theory suggests that the Mona Lisa contains hidden symbols related to alchemy. For example, some have suggested that the columns in the background of the painting represent the 4 elements of alchemy, while others have pointed to the various flowers in the painting as symbols of alchemical transformation. Despite the many theories and speculations surrounding the hidden messages in the Mona Lisa, there is little concrete evidence to support any of them. Some art historians believe that the supposed hidden messages are simply the result of overinterpretation, while others believe that Leonardo may have intentionally included subtle details to give the painting added depth and complexity. Regardless of whether there are hidden messages within the painting, the Mona Lisa remains a masterpiece of Renaissance art, and a testament to the genius of Leonardo da Vinci. Its enduring popularity and intrigue only serve to underscore the remarkable skill and creativity of its creator. Leonardo da Vinci was one of the most renowned figures of the Renaissance period. One of da Vinci's most significant contributions to the Renaissance was his artwork. Da Vinci's art is known for its intricate detail and realistic depiction of human emotions and movements. His use of techniques such as sfumato, the blending of colors to create a soft smoky effect, was groundbreaking and influential. In addition to his art, da Vinci was also a skilled scientist and inventor. His studies of human anatomy led to detailed drawings of the human body, which are still used by medical professionals today. He also invented a number of machines and devices, such as a flying machine and a tank, which were ahead of their time and demonstrated his understanding of engineering and physics. Da Vinci's curiosity and desire to learn about the world around him also contributed to the Renaissance. He was a proponent of empirical observation, the idea that knowledge should be gained through direct observation and experimentation. This approach to learning was a departure from the traditional reliance on religious dogma and authority, and it helped to pave the way for the scientific revolution that followed the Renaissance. Da Vinci's impact on the Renaissance can also be seen in his role as a teacher and mentor. He trained a number of apprentices who went on to become accomplished artists and engineers in their own right, and he shared his knowledge and ideas with fellow scholars and thinkers of the time. His influence was felt throughout Europe, and his ideas and discoveries helped to shape the course of history. Leonardo da Vinci's contributions to the Renaissance were vast and varied. His art, science, and engineering have had a lasting impact on our understanding of the world and our place in it. His legacy continues to inspire and influence artists, scientists, and thinkers to this day. Over the years, the appearance of black cubes around the sun has been a recurring phenomenon. While there are various theories and explanations regarding these sightings, there is no concrete evidence to support any of them. One theory suggests that these cubes may be spacecraft or other advanced objects orbiting the sun. Another theory speculates that these cubes may be the result of image processing anomalies, camera lens flares, or other optical illusions. However, this explanation does not account for the consistent appearance of these cubes in various images and videos from different sources. Some people believe that the black cubes are related to the ancient Egyptian god Osiris and are part of a theory involving advanced life forms. Throughout history, various ancient civilizations have described and depicted advanced machines in the sky. From the ancient Indian texts of the Vedas to the Nazca lines of Peru, many cultures have documented such objects in their art, writing, and oral traditions. This has led to the question of why these civilizations talked about these advanced machines in the sky. One theory is that these civilizations may have had contact with beings who visited Earth in advanced spacecraft. Some ancient texts describe such beings as gods or divine messengers who traveled the heavens in chariots or other advanced vehicles. For example, in the ancient Indian text of the Rig Veda, there are descriptions of flying chariots known as vimanas that were piloted by the gods. Another theory suggests that these advanced machines were actually built by ancient civilizations themselves. According to this theory, these civilizations possessed advanced knowledge and technology that has since been lost to time. The ancient Egyptians, for instance, were known for their advanced engineering skills and construction of impressive structures, such as the pyramids. Some speculate that they may have also possessed knowledge of aerodynamics and even built flying machines. It is also possible that the depictions of advanced machines in the sky were simply creative interpretations of natural phenomena, such as comets or meteors. Many ancient cultures had mythologies that were based on the movements and patterns of the stars and planets. In some cases, these celestial events may have been interpreted as divine messages or omens. It is also possible that these cubes are simply an artifact of the way that images and video are captured and processed. With the widespread availability of high-quality cameras and video equipment, it is easier than ever for individuals to capture and share images of the sun and other celestial objects. However, this also means that more people may be interpreting these images in unusual ways, leading to the emergence of theories and other unfounded claims. As of right now, the black cubes around the sun are likely to remain a mystery. While it is possible that there is some unknown phenomenon at work, It is also possible that these sightings are the result of misinterpretation or optical illusions. Until more concrete evidence is available, it is up to individuals to draw their own conclusions about what, if anything, these black cubes really mean. In recent years, there have been multiple reports of mysterious aircrafts near the International Space Station, causing speculation and theories to circulate on the internet. Firstly, it's worth noting that the International Space Station is the largest man-made structure in space and orbits the Earth at an altitude of approximately 400 kilometers. It is also equipped with various cameras and sensors that monitor the Earth's surface and atmosphere, as well as external objects in space. This means that any unusual sightings near the International Space Station are often captured on camera and recorded. One explanation for the sightings could be natural phenomena such as meteors or space debris. These objects can sometimes appear as bright lights or strange shapes which could be mistaken for mysterious aircrafts. However, some of the reported sightings have been described as moving in a controlled and deliberate manner, indicating that they may not be natural phenomena. Some have suggested that these sightings could be the result of secret military spacecraft or experimental technology being tested in the vicinity of the International Space Station. It's worth noting that the United States government has previously denied the existence of any such technology. Another explanation for the sightings could be advanced civilizations. Some believe that the International Space Station is being monitored by intelligent life forms from other planets in the same way that we are sending probes across the solar system. It's worth noting that NASA has not confirmed the existence of extraterrestrial life and have explained that most sightings can be explained by natural phenomena or man-made objects. ESA Huygens probe landed on Saturn's moon, Titan. Roughly 17 years ago, on January 14, 2005, the Huygens probe landed on Saturn's moon, Titan. Since 2005, Huygens has provided scientists with data to help them better understand this one-of-a-kind planet. The Huygens probe landing was the farthest any probe had traveled before. After traveling through space for over 7 years, it also became the first to land in the outer solar system. The Huygens probe weighed roughly 700 pounds and was shaped like a shellfish with a hard protective outer shell. The probe had the ability to measure many aspects of Titan's surface, including its physical and electrical properties, wind speed, radiation levels, and the chemical gases that are present. The probe also had the ability to take photos of the surface. Imaging team leader Caroline Porcault wrote, "I distinctly recall the dreamy feeling of being in one universe one moment and in another universe the next, but it was no dream. We had, without doubt, journeyed to Titan, 10 times farther from the sun than the Earth, and touched it. The solar system suddenly seemed a very much smaller place." The images returned to the European Space Agency included photos of an apparent shoreline, including breaks in the Earth carved by some sort of flowing liquid. There was also evidence that supports the idea of an underground ocean of water and ammonia deep beneath an icy crust. One of the reasons scientists are interested in researching the surface of Titan is because of the presence of chemicals that are believed to have been present on a young Earth. Nitrogen and methane were both found in the atmosphere. The methane element is interesting because methane's lifespan in Titan's atmosphere is only tens of 1 million of years, meaning the methane must somehow be replenished throughout time. There were changes with the Huygens probe. These changes are helping scientists perfect probe design as we continue to explore space. The first problem the ESA encountered was the spin direction of the probe. After an unexpected flip in the spacecraft's spin, it descended onto Titan more quickly than anticipated. The spin direction and speed were essential to scientists because any alterations could affect the spacecraft's ability to stabilize for landing. The ESA explained, luckily, the magnitude of this reverse spin was similar to that expected by the researchers, meaning that the unexpected flip affected the timing of the planned observations, but did not dramatically affect their quality. Unfortunately, there was also an issue with a programming sequence that meant about 350 images Huygens took were never sent back to Earth. Not only did Huygens provide scientists with imperative data about Saturn's moon Titan, but 17 years later, the data acquired during Huygens' journey is still helping spacecraft designers create future probes. Elon Musk's first human colony on Mars would have to survive on a vegan diet. Could not be anything more like a movie. Elon Musk recently announced that future Martians will survive by growing their own food in solar-powered hydroponic glass dome farms. As a result, meat will not be on the menu, and these first people on Mars will have to survive on a completely vegan diet. Musk does say, at least for the moment, that it will likely only be the first 100 people on Mars who are limited to fully vegan cuisine, owing simply to the extremely high levels of power which will be required to run and maintain the self-sustaining farms combined with the obviously limited resources. For example, a study written by John Strickland from the National Space Society outlined the fact that you would have the number of people domes could sustain if they also required meat and fish compared to a vegan diet. Similarly, it is also thought that if people did stick to a plant-only diet, a 0.3 square mile farm with 4 levels to it could feed a colony of approximately 5,000. However, Musk does not foresee glass domes being the story of life on Mars forever, and rather suggests them to be a form of temporary habitats for the first cohort of people to help develop more permanent infrastructure on the red planet. With Starship, the Mars rocket, looking highly likely to be ready for its first test orbit sometime this year, the possibility of life on Mars is becoming increasingly real. Therefore, preparing for other logistical details, such as how to then survive once you have reached Mars, will be the next groundbreaking research needed in the field to continue expanding our horizons, quite literally. Plans for life on Mars are wide and varied. China, United States, and the United Arab Emirates all have plans to succeed at cracking human travel to Mars by 2040, and the UAE has gone so far as to plan future civilization on the red planet. However, Musk is currently making headway and has the most aggressive plan aiming to get a human crew to Mars by 2026 and an established thriving city by 2050, with international involvement creating even more competition and incentive to be the first to Mars and first to facilitate life on Mars too. Mysterious kick just after the Big Bang may have created dark matter. Scientists believe that matter and antimatter should be balanced. They are counterparts, and as most materials that are opposites, they ought to cancel each other out on contact. All the universe's matter should have been destroyed as soon as it came into existence as a result of touching with antimatter. But, as we know, that's not the case, and there is a known imbalance in space when it comes to matter and antimatter. Scientists now theorize that when the universe was in its infancy, a kick was responsible for producing far more matter than antimatter. It's possible that this imbalance between them made dark matter. Dark matter has a pull on everything, yet it does not interact with anything, even light. All we know is it exists and makes up 80% of our cosmos, but how it works, how it came to be, and what it does is still a mystery. And yet, we also know that regular matter has nothing in common with dark matter, which is, as of now, outside our understanding of physics. It is believed that for a short while, antimatter and matter were balanced, but something caused that balance to shift and it filled the universe with matter. Scientists do not know when this happened, if it even did. It is now thought that perhaps the unbalance of matter and antimatter is connected to the birth of dark matter. It would make sense for these processes to be connected, but without proof, one can only speculate and study the situation. A study by Arxiv from 2020 alleges that space relies on a baryon number symmetry. Baryons are composed of quarks, protons, and neutrons, and it claims that all baryons must be equal in interaction with baryons possessing antiquarks. If this paper is accepted by peers, it will suggest that symmetry is an aspect of almost all things in space. Yet it suggests that in the early cosmos, the kick specifically pushed antimatter and matter out of proportion. In physics, if symmetry is shattered, it creates what is called a Goldstone boson. So if the theory is correct, it adds evidence to the idea that dark matter is a product of the barrier number of matters breaking. The balance between dark matter and matter then suggests they are indeed related, but this theorized model of understanding dark matter does not help with the split between dark and normal matter, 80% dark matter and 20% matter. They are in rough balance, and it's thought that it's because they share their origins. This unknown origin or kick is yet to be theorized, and for now is being held as a placeholder. Someone on social media sent us this photograph saying that it was captured above the United States. They couldn't explain what the object was in the sky, detailing that it looked to be in the shape of a black triangle. The photographs were soon sent to various online groups that investigate mysterious phenomena, and the majority of them agreed that this was a black triangle, a mysterious aircraft that's been sighted across the United States for several decades. The mystery here, though, is that no one is sure what they are and who they belong to. If they belong to the United States military, then it proves that they have technology far superior than anyone else, as these aircrafts have been observed outmaneuvering jets and traveling at tens of thousands of miles per hour. When these types of photographs are taken, it's very hard for the eyewitnesses to be able to record the encounter, mainly because the vast majority of eyewitnesses aren't expecting to see anything, so the encounter is usually rushed, leaving those involved with more questions than answers. The phenomenon of black triangles has been a topic of interest and debate for many years. Reports of these triangular-shaped aircrafts have been documented across the world, and many people believe that they are extraterrestrial in origin. The first recorded sighting of a black triangle was in 1561 over Nuremberg. The 1561 celestial phenomenon over Nuremberg was a rare and unusual event that occurred on April 14, 1561 in Nuremberg, Germany. It was an aerial battle that took place in the sky above the city and involved a large number of strange flying objects that were described as spheres, cylinders, triangles, and crosses. This event has been the subject of much debate and speculation among researchers and historians over the years. The event began at dawn when a number of large black spheres were seen emerging from the sky. These spheres were said to be as big as a small house and were followed by a series of smaller objects, some of which were described as cylinders and others as crosses. Witnesses reported seeing these objects move and dart around in the sky in a chaotic and violent manner, as if engaged in some sort of aerial battle. According to contemporary accounts, the objects emitted a strange noise that sounded like a great many men, women, and children screaming. Some witnesses reported feeling a sense of dread and fear as they watched the objects in the sky, while others were filled with wonder and amazement. The event lasted for about an hour before the objects disappeared back into the sky. In the aftermath, the people of Nuremberg were left to wonder what had just happened. Some speculated that the objects were celestial in nature and had some sort of religious or divine significance. Others believed that they were the product of advanced technology or even extraterrestrial in origin. Over the years, the Nuremberg event has become one of the most famous and well-documented mass UFO sightings in history. Some researchers have suggested that the event may have been the result of a natural phenomenon, such as a meteor shower or an unusual weather pattern. Despite the many theories and speculations surrounding the Nuremberg event, no one has been able to provide a definitive explanation for what actually happened that day. The event remains an enigma and a mystery to this day, and continues to capture the imagination of believers and historians alike. One of the most famous black triangle sightings occurred in Belgium in 1989 and 1990. During this time, hundreds of people reported seeing a triangular-shaped aircraft with 3 bright lights. The sightings were so widespread that the Belgian Air Force launched an investigation, but they were unable to identify the object. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the Belgian black triangle sightings remain one of the most well-documented cases in history. In recent years, there have been numerous sightings of black triangles across the world, including in the United States, United Kingdom, and Mexico. These sightings have led to many theories about the origin of these objects. Some believe that they are controlled by advanced beings, while others suggest that they are top-secret military aircraft or drones. One popular theory is that black triangles are part of a secret military project. The U.S. Air Force has acknowledged that they are testing advanced aircraft, but they deny that any of these aircraft are triangular in shape. Despite this, many people remain convinced that the military is testing new aircraft and that black triangles are a part of this testing. Others believe that black triangles are evidence of advanced life forms. They point to the shape of the objects, which is not consistent with any known aircraft, and suggest that they must have been created by something incredibly advanced. While there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, it remains a popular belief among many enthusiasts. The impact of black triangle sightings on popular culture has been significant. The widespread interest in these sightings has also led to increased attention from the scientific community, with researchers studying the sightings in an attempt to explain their origin. As of right now, the phenomenon of black triangles is a topic of great interest and debate. While there is no concrete evidence to support any one theory about their origin, their widespread sightings suggest that they are more than just a myth. However, as the years go on and more evidence is presented, it is possible that we may one day uncover the truth behind these mysterious objects. The Aurora aircraft is a mysterious and controversial plane that has been the subject of much speculation and debate since the 1980s. Although the existence of the aurora has never been officially confirmed by the U.S. government, many aviation enthusiasts and theorists believe that the plane is a highly classified stealth aircraft capable of flying at hypersonic speeds and reaching altitudes of up to 100,000 feet. The origins of the aurora can be traced back to the late 1970s when the U.S. Air Force began developing a replacement for the aging SR-71 Blackbird reconnaissance plane. According to some accounts, the new plane was designed to be capable of flying at 6 times the speed of sound or faster and to operate at altitudes well above those reachable by conventional aircraft. The aurora was also believed to be equipped with advanced stealth technology that would make it virtually invisible to radar. The first reported sightings of the aurora occurred in the early 1980s, when a number of witnesses in California, Nevada, and other states reported seeing a triangular-shaped aircraft flying at high speeds and making sharp turns. Over the years, similar sightings have been reported in other parts of the world, including Europe, Australia, and Asia. As of right now, the U.S. government has never acknowledged the existence of the plane, and there are no official documents or photographs of the aurora. However, there have been numerous unofficial reports and rumors about the plane over the years, and some aviation experts believe that it may have been used in various covert operations and military missions. Some have gone further, speculating that the aurora is part of a secret government program to develop advanced technologies for use in space and extraterrestrial exploration. Some even claim that the plane is capable of interstellar travel and has been used to explore other planets and galaxies. Despite the lack of official confirmation or concrete evidence, the aurora continues to fascinate and intrigue many people. Its mysterious origins and alleged capabilities have led to countless theories and speculations, and the plane remains one of the most enigmatic and controversial aircraft in history. Someone found this huge object above the eastern Pacific. It was captured using the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Tropical Pacific Weather Channel. The man who found it put the recording on a loop, and during this, a huge triangular object appears. Oddly enough, the man stated that the object is around half the size of Mexico. The triangular object was caught hovering above the ocean and was detected by satellite. The man who found it said that he's never seen anything like it, noting that he often checks this live camera feed, and nothing of this size has ever showed up before. The man went on to explain that the object was visible for over 7 hours, saying that it wasn't just a random cloud formation or glitch, and said that it stayed in the same location. These black triangle objects have been witnessed for several decades now, with researchers into the unknown saying that sightings can be traced back 100 years. These enigmatic triangular crafts have been spotted all over the world, leading to fervent speculation and debate among researchers and enthusiasts. Black triangle sightings began to gain prominence in the late 1980s, early 1990s. Witnesses described these crafts as large, dark, silent, and triangular in shape, often with bright lights at each corner. These sightings caught the attention of researchers who were intrigued by the consistent descriptions from witnesses around the globe. Black triangles have been reported in various countries, including the United States, United Kingdom, Mexico, and Japan. Witnesses describe seeing these crafts hovering silently in the sky or moving at high speeds. The origins of these black triangles remain a subject of speculation and debate. Several hypotheses have been proposed to explain these sightings. Skeptics argue that black triangles are classified military aircraft undergoing testing or surveillance operations. The secretive nature of military programs could explain the lack of public acknowledgement. Interestingly, though, various eyewitnesses have reported seeing these black triangles hovering above the ocean. While many unidentified objects are witnessed in the skies above land, there is a growing body of evidence and speculation that suggests these objects may also have a significant interest in the oceans. One of the primary reasons these objects might be interested in the oceans is the abundance of water. Earth is the only planet known to have vast oceans of liquid water, a precious resource that could be of immense value to advanced civilizations. Water is essential for sustaining life as we know it, and it is possible that unidentified objects are searching for or monitoring Earth's oceans in their quest for habitable environments. The oceans represent some of the most unexplored and diverse ecosystems on Earth. These deep and largely unknown environments harbor an incredible variety of life forms, many of which are yet to be discovered by humans. It is conceivable that these objects, equipped with advanced sensing technologies, are interested in studying these unique ecosystems and their inhabitants to better understand the diversity of life in the universe. One intriguing theory put forth by some researchers is the possibility of submerged bases in Earth's oceans. If unidentified objects are of advanced origin, it is conceivable that they might have established bases underwater to remain hidden and undetected from human observation. These underwater bases could serve as research outposts or staging areas for their activities on Earth. Numerous sightings have been reported in close proximity to marine life, particularly with regard to encounters with whales and dolphins. Some witnesses have described these objects emerging from or submerging into the ocean, suggesting a connection between unidentified objects and marine life. This has led some researchers to speculate about potential communication or interaction between these objects and Earth's intelligent marine species. Another speculative theory is that unidentified objects may be interested in extracting resources from the oceans. Earth's oceans contain vast amounts of minerals and elements, some of which may be scarce or highly valuable in other parts of the universe. Advanced civilizations may view our oceans as a potential source of valuable resources, leading them to explore or exploit these underwater reserves. The oceans are also home to various forms of energy, including geothermal vents, which release hot, mineral-rich water from beneath the Earth's surface. Such energy sources could be of interest to advanced civilizations seeking sustainable and renewable energy solutions. These aircrafts might be monitoring or harnessing these energy reserves to power their craft or other technologies. The vastness and depth of the oceans offer a convenient environment for concealment and surveillance. These aircrafts could use the ocean as a hiding place or base of operations, especially given that human exploration and surveillance technologies are less developed underwater than in space or on land. The ocean's depths also provide an effective shield against human detection. As of right now, the Earth's oceans are a fascinating and mysterious aspect of the broader phenomenon. While there is no definitive evidence to confirm the reasons behind this apparent attraction, numerous scientific theories and speculative ideas offer plausible explanations. Whether these objects are drawn to Earth's oceans for resources, water, or the study of marine life, their presence and activities remain one of the greatest enigmas of our time. This isn't the first time that something like this has been detected, and former workers have come forward and detailed that these objects are occasionally witnessed. Back in 2008, a team of National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration scientists embarked on a routine research expedition aboard their state-of-the-art research vessel. Their mission was to study marine life and oceanic currents in the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. However, one of the workers said that this voyage would lead them to an encounter that would defy their understanding of the world. As the vessel sailed through the tranquil waters, the scientists immersed themselves in their work, meticulously collecting data and observing marine creatures. Dr. Walker, the lead marine biologist, had always been fascinated by the mysteries of the deep sea. As night fell, the team continued their observations under the shimmering moonlight. Suddenly, an unusual blip appeared on the ship's radar, catching the attention of Dr. Walker and the crew. They were puzzled by the mysterious signal as there were no other vessels reported in the vicinity. With a sense of anticipation, the crew followed the radar signal, leading them to an area where the ocean currents seemed to converge. As they approached, an eerie silence enveloped the ship, broken only by the gentle lapping of the waves against the hull. Then, out of the darkness, a breathtaking sight unfolded before them. A massive, triangle-shaped object hovered above the water, emitting a soft, ethereal glow. The mysterious craft seemed to defy the laws of physics, maintaining a steady position in the air without any visible means of propulsion. Amidst the astonishment, Dr. Walker quickly grabbed her camera and began capturing images of the otherworldly spectacle. The crew members, equally mesmerized, exchanged bewildered glances as they tried to make sense of the inexplicable sighting. Captain Reynolds radioed to other National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration vessels that were in the area, reporting their sighting with an air of incredulity. The situation was unprecedented, and the crew knew that their encounter would be met with skepticism back home. As the night wore on, the enigmatic triangle object remained suspended above the ocean, seemingly unbothered by the presence of the workers. Dr. Walker and her team observed the object's peculiar light patterns, noting how it occasionally emitted bright flashes before dimming again. Suddenly, the object started to move, gliding noiselessly across the sky. The crew watched in awe as it soared effortlessly above the water, leaving behind a faint trail of shimmering light. The object then made a quick getaway and was not seen for the rest of the mission. Oddly enough, the cameras were taken from the crew and they were told not to speak of their encounter. Back in December 2022, a copy of the Torah was seized by officials in Turkey. The team said they received a tip that the manuscript was going up for sale and so quickly moved in to retrieve the artifact before it was sold. The manuscript was expected to make around $1,500,000. And it's because of this that officials have said that these underground networks are working harder than ever to find these types of manuscripts. Diggers are being hired to excavate across various regions throughout the Middle East in the hopes that they come across under these biblical artifacts. In the past, they've been sold for $1 million to private investors. During the interrogation at the District Gendarmerie Command, the officers reported that the manuscript had been transported from Istanbul to the district of Giresun. One user on social media said that they were able to translate it and said that judging by the pages and texts used, it's around 700 to 900 years old. It's likely that investigations will be carried out on the book in order to make sure that it's genuine. And if it is, it will likely be placed away in storage, or may even end up in a museum. Biblical artifacts are objects that have a direct connection to the Bible, its stories, and its characters. They can include ancient scrolls, fragments of pottery, inscriptions, coins, and other items that are mentioned in the Bible, or shed light on the context in which the Bible was written. These artifacts are an essential part of the world's cultural and religious heritage, and they provide valuable insights into the history, society, and culture of the biblical era. Protecting biblical artifacts is important for several reasons. They offer a glimpse into the history of the people and cultures that existed during the time of the Bible. They are valuable sources of information for scholars, researchers, and historians who seek to understand the past and how it has influenced our present. Biblical artifacts can provide insights into the religious beliefs and practices of the people of the time, as well as the evolution of religious thought and practice over time. They help us understand the context in which the Bible was written and the beliefs of those who wrote it. The Bible has had a profound impact on Western civilization and is a foundational text for many cultures and societies. Biblical artifacts are an important part of our shared cultural heritage and can help us connect to the past and our collective history. Many of these artifacts are legally protected by national and international laws, as well as ethical guidelines established by organizations, such as the International Council of Museums. These laws and guidelines are in place to prevent the theft, looting, and illicit trade of cultural property, which can have devastating effects on local communities and the preservation of cultural heritage. For many people of faith, biblical artifacts hold great religious significance and are considered sacred objects. Protecting these artifacts is therefore a matter of respecting and honoring religious beliefs and practices. The Torah, the book that we just previously covered that was found in Turkey, is the central text of Judaism, and it is also considered the foundational text of the Abrahamic religions. It is composed of 5 books, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, which together tell the story of the creation of the world, the history of the Jewish people, and the giving of the law at Mount Sinai. The word Torah comes from the Hebrew word meaning instruction or teaching, and the text is believed to have been revealed by God to Moses on Mount Sinai around 3,300 years ago. According to Jewish tradition, the Torah was given to Moses in both written and oral form, and it was passed down through generations of scholars and teachers before being compiled into its final written form. Each of the 5 books of the Torah has a different focus and theme. The book of Genesis tells the story of the creation of the world as well as the history of the patriarchs and matriarchs of the Jewish people, including Adam and Eve, Noah, Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. The book of Exodus tells the story of the Israelites' enslavement in Egypt and their miraculous escape led by Moses. It also includes the giving of the 10 Commandments and other laws at Mount Sinai. The book of Leviticus contains a detailed system of laws and rituals governing the religious and social life of the Israelites, including rules for sacrifice, purity, and the role of priests. The Book of Numbers includes a census of the Israelites and their journey through the wilderness towards the Promised Land, as well as various laws and rituals. The Book of Deuteronomy contains a series of speeches given by Moses to the Israelites before they enter the Promised Land, including a restatement of the law and various blessings and curses. The Torah is a foundational text for Jewish theology, law, and practice, and it continues to be studied and revered by Jews around the world. Its teachings have also had a profound influence on Western civilization as a whole, shaping the beliefs and practices of Christianity and Islam as well. Mount Sinai, also known as Mount Horeb, is a mountain located in the Sinai Peninsula of Egypt. It is a significant location in Abrahamic religions, particularly Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. According to the Bible, Mount Sinai is where Moses received the Ten Commandments from God. The mountain is also associated with other important events, including the burning bush that Moses encountered and the place where Elijah received the word of God. In Islam, it is believed that the prophet Moses received the revelations of the Quran on the mountain. Mount Sinai is a relatively small mountain, standing at approximately 2,285 meters or 7,500 feet. It is part of a larger mountain range that runs through the Sinai Peninsula. The mountain is characterized by its rugged, rocky terrain and is often covered in snow during the winter months. The mountain is accessible by foot, and there are several routes to reach the summit. The most popular route is the traditional Saket el-Bahite path, which starts from the monastery of St. Catherine and takes approximately 3 to 4 hours to reach the summit. There is also a camel trail that can be used to reach the summit. The summit of Mount Sinai offers spectacular views of the surrounding desert landscape. At the top, visitors can find a small chapel that was built in the 6th century by the Byzantine Emperor Justinian. The chapel is called the Chapel of the Holy Trinity and is an important pilgrimage site for Christians. Overall, Mount Sinai is an important religious and cultural site that holds significant historical and spiritual importance for people of many faiths. The Bible appears to contain coded messages. In 1997, Michael Drosnin, a reporter, published the book, The Bible Code. His book discussed some mysteries surrounding the Bible and that it held predictions for historical events, such as the assassination of the Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, or several comet collisions. Drosnin discussed numerous other theories about how the Bible could predict world-shaping events that happened in his other books within the series. Drosnin was not the only theorist of the secrets of the Bible, but he drew inspiration from a book published in 1994 called Equidistant Letter Sequences in the Book of Genesis by mathematicians Doran Witstam, Ilya Rips, and Joab Rosenberg. They argued and presented evidence that the Bible had hidden information and discussed famous rabbis of the past. The method they used to discover these hidden codes and messages is called the equidistant letter sequence. How the technique works is that you pick a starting point in the text, or in this case the Bible, and then skip a number while selecting letters and skipping the same number of spaces every time. The words selected will sometimes create a word. It may sound confusing, but ELS is efficient if the letters of the text are arranged in an array like they are in the Bible. Timothy Smith is one of the most recent experts to claim that secret messages are hidden within the Bible. His theory derives from using a computer-driven application of the ELS method and his own knowledge to uncover hidden messages. His work is called the Leningrad Codex. That being said, his work has been labeled as biased as Smith is a Christian, and all the conclusions he discovered are related to the religion. At this point, there is no clear evidence that the Bible has hidden messages, but experts are constantly working to unravel any mystery that shrouds the most famous book in the world. What do you think? Are there hidden messages within the text that might have warned us about the tragic events happening in our world? Back in the year 2000, marine archaeologist Robert Ballard and his team discovered the first evidence of a civilization that may have perished in a great flood of the Black Sea around 5000 BCE. The discovery was made during an expedition to the Black Sea, where they found the remains of an ancient settlement, including human artifacts and evidence of farming that had been submerged in water. The discovery suggested that the Black Sea was once a freshwater lake that was flooded by seawater from the Mediterranean, leading to the displacement of many ancient communities in the region. This discovery provided new insights into the region's ancient history and how environmental changes can impact human civilization. The Great Flood of the Black Sea, also known as the Deluge, is a natural disaster that is believed to have occurred around 7,500 years ago. The event is thought to have been triggered by the melting of the ice caps, which caused a rise in sea levels and ultimately led to the flooding of the Black Sea. Prior to the flood, the Black Sea was a freshwater lake known as the Lake of Mountains. However, as the water levels began to rise, the Bosporus Strait, which connects the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, was breached, allowing salt water from the Mediterranean to flow into the Black Sea. The flooding of the Black Sea is believed to have occurred over the course of several decades, with the water levels gradually rising as the Bosporus Strait widened. As the water levels increased, the shoreline receded, and many settlements that had been built along the coast were submerged. The flooding of the Black Sea is thought to have had a significant impact on the people who lived in the region at the time. Many scholars believe that the flood may have contributed to the development of the Noah's Ark story, as well as other flood myths from around the world. In recent years, archaeologists have discovered evidence of ancient settlements that were submerged during the flood, including pottery, tools, and other artifacts. These discoveries have shed new light on the impact of the Great Flood of the Black Sea, and have helped to further our understanding of this major event in human history. Many ancient cultures around the world have stories and legends that describe a great flood or deluge that destroyed the world or wiped out humanity. While the details of these stories vary widely, there are several common themes and possible explanations for why so many cultures have similar flood myths. One possible explanation is that many of these cultures lived in regions that were susceptible to flooding, such as river deltas or coastal areas. In these areas, floods were a regular occurrence and would have been a significant threat to the survival of communities. As a result, stories and legends about devastating floods may have been passed down through generations as a way to warn people about the dangers of living in these areas. Another possible explanation is that some of these flood myths may have been inspired by actual historical events, such as the previously mentioned flooding of the Black Sea or the Mesopotamian flood that is described in the Epic of Gilgamesh. In these cases, the memory of the flood may have been passed down through oral tradition, and over time, the details of the story may have been embellished or altered. Religious or spiritual beliefs may also have played a role in the development of flood myths. Many ancient cultures believed in powerful deities or spirits that controlled the natural world, and floods may have been seen as a punishment from the gods or a sign of divine intervention. In some cases, flood myths may have been used to explain the origins of the world or the nature of human existence. Finally, it's possible that the prevalence of flood stories is simply a coincidence or the result of cultural diffusion. As cultures interacted with each other through trade, migration, and other forms of exchange, stories and legends may have been shared and adapted, leading to the spread of flood stories across different regions and cultures. What did the ancient Sumerians say about the Great Flood? The ancient Sumerians, who lived in Mesopotamia around 4,000 years ago, are among the many cultures that have a flood story in their mythology. The Sumerian flood is recorded in several different texts, including the Epic of Gilgamesh and the Atrahasis epic. According to the Sumerian flood, the gods became angry with humanity for their disobedience and decided to send a flood to destroy all life on earth. The god Enki, who was sympathetic to humanity, warned a man named Ziusudra, also known as Utnapishtim, of the impending disaster, and instructed him to build a large boat or ark to save himself, his family, and the animals. Ziusudra followed Enki's instructions and built the boat, filling it with animals and provisions. When the flood came, it lasted for 7 days, 7 nights, during which time the boat was tossed and turned by the raging waters. Eventually the flood receded and the boat came to rest on a mountain. Ziusudra and his family emerged from the boat along with the animals and were hailed as heroes for their survival. The gods, realizing their mistake in wiping out all life, granted Ziusudra and his wife immortality as a reward for their courage and wisdom. The Sumerian flood story shares many similarities with other flood myths from around the world, including the biblical story of Noah's Ark. It's possible that these stories are all based on an actual historical event. Regardless of their origins, flood stories continue to capture the imagination of people around the world and offer insights into the ways that ancient cultures sought to understand and explain the forces of nature and the mysteries of the universe. Valley of the Golden Mummies. At the Baaria Oasis, a breathtaking discovery was made, an acropolis which contained various tombs of great importance. 105 mummies were found, all in idyllic condition for bodies so old. The area came to be known as the Valley of Golden Mummies, and it is theorized that there may be 10,000 mummies buried here deep in the earth. Dr. Zahi Hawass discovered them about 380 kilometers from the pyramids. It was an accident when a guard's donkey's leg fell through a hole in the ground. They found gold glimmering beautifully down below and decided to excavate. Alongside the bodies, for tombs dating back to 330 BCE were found. Some mummies were gilded and obviously wealthy citizens, merchants and their loved ones most likely. Some mummies were wrapped in linen, a more economic approach at mummification. It seems that sometimes whole families were laid in the same graves. Archaeologists found one female mummy's head laying on the stomach of a male mummy, assumed to have once been her husband. Further artifacts were found, such as gold, jewelry, pottery, coins, bracelets, rings, earrings, and all types of precious metals ranging from silver to bronze to gold and even ivory. The burial site included little clay statuettes of mourners. The point of these was for them to weep for the deceased for eternity and let them never be forgotten. Other statuettes were found of mothers who symbolized fertility. Empty vials were found, and the largest speculation is that these held tears for the loss of life. The tombs lacked any inscriptions. What started off as an accidental discovery of gold turned into an excavation of 105 mummies, which since its initial founding has become 200 mummies. This has revealed an incredible amount about Romanized mummification during this period and the culture of the ancient Roman-influenced Egyptians. All this greatness occurred because a donkey took one wrong step and its leg fell through the sand. The fact that the most grandiose of discoveries are found by complete and utter accident makes one wonder how many more things lay beneath the ground, hidden right underneath our very feet. Human history pushed back 400,000 years by new discovery. Sometimes, it's the smallest of changes that have the biggest ripple effect, and our whole perspective can shift ever so rapidly. History might seem as though it is stuck in the past, though in reality, history is reflected and dictated by the present. Everything we learn that has happened is susceptible to change with any new discovery. In this case, a single jaw bone managed to rewrite our historical timeline by a staggering 400,000 years. A fossil of a lower jaw was uncovered in Ethiopia back in 2013. It has been dated to reveal that it is 2,800,000 years old and holds important insights into how human jaws and teeth have developed throughout time. As far as we know, this jaw is the oldest piece of evidence we have from any species that belongs to the genus Homo, like us humans eventually came to be. So this jaw has the potential to clue us in on just how the species within the genus Homo managed to evolve from their most primitive states all the way to us today, not only in the 21st century, but also back to when we became Homo sapiens at all. Up until this finding, the fossils that have been found to be any older than 2,500,000 years old have been too poorly preserved to obtain any valuable data from them. This discovery marked an important turning point in archaeological research in which we were able to see some of the earliest records we have of our lineage. Dr. William Kimball, the director of the Institute of Human Origins at Arizona State University, said, "The Ledi jaw helps narrow the evolutionary gap. It's thanks to the fossil, which represents a critical point in the timeline of human evolution, that we have a better understanding of this transitional period, even if it means correcting a lot of research that we already took for granted." This is a vastly noteworthy example of just how much change one small finding can bring to an entire discipline, subject of work, and species as a whole. Human evolution is perhaps one of the largest butterfly effects known to man. The small changes, the minor decisions, and the single mutations are still evident millennia later. Denisovan's DNA reveals mystery of human evolution. We have long had an interest in those that came before us, and while the Neanderthals are spoken of somewhat with frequency, the Denisovans were only found to have existed in 2008. This recent discovery of their ancient existence has led to many shifting details in our understanding of human evolution. They have made an appearance in our archaeological field and have left a trail of new research in their wake. Even following their finding in 2008, our timeline stood to be corrected, with us believing they existed just 50,000 years ago. As of 2015, however, we found that this number was far too limiting, and that, despite initial understandings, the Denisovans had been hanging around and walking the Earth for what could easily have been tens of 1,000 of years longer. This age correction was the result of speculations surrounding the true age of some fossils that were key in understanding the species. DNA from the species was tested, obtained from a tooth fossil found in a southwestern Siberian cave. From this tooth fossil, alongside the other somewhat limited data we have so far on this species, researchers have been able to conclude that the Denisovans were more accurately walking the Earth a staggering 110,000 years ago. The director and co-author of the study, Svante Pääbo from the Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology, said in an interview with CS Monitor, "We got the first glimpse of genetic variation in Denisovans, and it turns out they have quite a bit variation, about as much as Neanderthals. The tooth fossils looked at were determined to be from two separate people, with one of them having been alive a significant length of time before the other. This was determined by the missing mutations within the genes, giving us further insight into where these specific genes may have come from. Despite some people's theories, the Neanderthals and Denisovans, while similar, are very distinct species. Their resemblance is incredible, with the differences between their species only being evident after very closely analyzing the original fossils. This intense level of examination that is required is what allowed the Denisovans to go undetected for so long." Mysterious aircrafts have been witnessed for years, and over the last few decades, various individuals have come forward with their strange encounters, including pilots and soldiers. One story was shared to social media by Corporal Rodriguez, who went on to detail their strange encounter. As Corporal Rodriguez patrolled the perimeter of the military base, he noticed an unusual light in the sky. He tried to radio in, but the line was silent. The light grew larger and closer until he realized it was a mysterious aircraft hovering above the base. At first, Rodriguez froze in fear, as he had heard stories of other soldiers encountering mysterious objects, but he never believed them. He reported that this sighting changed his outlook, and that he watched as the craft silently glided over the base, noting that it was pulsating. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out of the object and hit the ground near Rodriguez's feet. He stumbled back, shielding his eyes from the intense light. When he opened them again, he saw that the mysterious object was hovering no more than 30 feet above him. Rodriguez's instincts kicked in, and he knew he had to report this to his superiors. He sprinted back to the base, but as he ran, he felt a strange sensation. It was like the air around him was charged with electricity. When he reached the base, he found that the power was out and the communication systems were down. He realized that the mysterious aircraft must have caused a power surge. He made his way to the command center and found the other soldiers gathered around the monitors. The footage from the security cameras showed the bright object hovering over the base before landing in a nearby field. Rodriguez and a team of soldiers were tasked with investigating the area. As they approached the landing site, they noticed strange burn marks on the ground. There were also strange markings etched into the soil like nothing they had ever seen before. Suddenly, they heard a low humming sound. They looked up and saw that the mysterious aircraft was hovering above them once again. Rodriguez and the soldiers instinctively drew their weapons, but they quickly realized that it was useless against this advanced technology. The object remained motionless for a few moments before shooting off into the night sky. Rodriguez and the soldiers were left standing in the field, stunned by what they had just witnessed. After the encounter, Rodriguez and the soldiers were debriefed and sworn to secrecy. But Rodriguez couldn't keep the experience to himself. He began to research sightings and found that he wasn't alone in his encounter. There were reports from all over the world of similar experiences with mysterious crafts. Rodriguez was forever changed by his encounter with the object. He had always been skeptical of stories about mysterious aircrafts, but now he was a believer. He had seen it with his own eyes, and nothing could convince him otherwise. From that day on, Rodriguez said that he struggled with the encounter, saying that footage was taken that day of something incredibly advanced, but was frustrated that the footage never made it out to the public. He would spend countless hours researching and studying the phenomenon, determined to shed light on what he believed was the greatest mystery of our time. Interestingly enough, the United States military has long reported encounters with mysterious aircrafts. Unidentified objects have been a subject of interest, fascination, and speculation for many years. These mysterious aerial phenomena have been observed by civilians, pilots, and military personnel alike, and they have prompted numerous investigations by the United States government. The United States military's encounters with mysterious aircrafts date back to World War II, when American pilots reported seeing mysterious fast-moving objects in the sky. These objects were nicknamed Foo Fighters and were initially believed to be secret enemy weapons. However, the objects were never identified and no conclusive explanation for the sightings was ever found. As the Cold War began, the interest in these mysterious aircrafts increased, and the United States military continued to report unexplained aerial phenomena. In 1947, a widely publicized event occurred in New Mexico, where a rancher discovered debris from an alleged crash. The military initially announced the recovery of a flying disc, but later retracted the statement and claimed it was a weather balloon. This incident sparked widespread interest in mysterious aircrafts and theories about the government's involvement in a cover-up. In response to the growing number of sightings and public concern, the United States Air Force launched Project Blue Book in 1952, an official investigation into mysterious aircrafts. The project aimed to collect, analyze, and catalog sightings, and determine if they posed a threat to national security. Over its 17-year existence, Project Blue Book collected more than 12,000 reports with over 700 cases remaining unidentified. Although Project Blue Book officially concluded in 1969 that mysterious aircrafts did not pose a threat to national security, the military continued to encounter these mysterious objects. In 1976, the United States Defense Intelligence Agency released a report on the Iranian incident, where Iranian fighter jets encountered a mysterious aircraft with advanced technology. The report revealed that the pilots experienced equipment malfunctions while pursuing the object, which demonstrated capabilities far beyond known human technology. The United States military has been encountering strange objects for over 80 years, with sightings dating back to World War II. Despite numerous investigations and the declassification of documents and videos, many of these encounters remain unexplained, leaving the public and the military with questions about the nature and origin of these mysterious objects. As the government continues to release information and pursue the subject further, researchers into the unknown hope that more information will become available to the general public. Antarctica, the Earth's southernmost continent, has long been a source of fascination and intrigue due to its remote location, extreme conditions, and the mysteries that lie beneath its icy surface. In recent years, there has been a growing interest in reports of unidentified objects spotted above Antarctica. These sightings have fueled speculation about advanced activity, secret military bases, and hidden ancient civilizations. Just recently, someone on social media reported that they found a large object embedded in the snow, saying that a large trail could be seen behind the object, and suggested that whatever this thing is could have crash-landed. The user who found the photograph said that they've spent countless hours looking across Antarctica in the hopes of finding something strange. The object appears to be in the shape of a disc, with the user saying that when they measured the object it was just over 10 meters, but noted that the trail that can be seen directly behind the object measured in at over 250 meters. As of right now, there's not much to go by, but those who've seen this image have said that it's one of the clearest photographs of a mysterious object found in Antarctica and could be evidence of a mysterious downed aircraft. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that an object like this has been found embedded in the snow, and it's caused researchers into the unknown to suggest that something strange may be going on down in Antarctica. Reports of mysterious sightings above Antarctica date back to the early 20th century, when explorers and scientists first began conducting expeditions on the continent. One of the earliest recorded accounts comes from the 1947 Operation High Jump, a United States Navy expedition led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd. During the operation, some crew members reported seeing unidentified objects moving at high speeds and performing unusual maneuvers. These sightings were never officially acknowledged by the United States government, and no concrete evidence was found to substantiate the claims. In more recent years, there have been numerous anecdotal accounts of sightings from scientists and personnel stationed at research bases across Antarctica. These accounts often describe unusual lights, metallic objects, and unexplained aerial phenomena observed in the skies above the continent. The advent of satellite technology and the availability of high-resolution imagery have provided researchers and enthusiasts with new tools to investigate sightings above Antarctica. In several instances, strange structures and objects have been identified in satellite images, fueling speculation about mysterious bases or secret military installations. While some of these findings have been debunked as natural geological formations or optical illusions, others remain unexplained and continue to generate debate among researchers and enthusiasts. The mysterious nature of sightings above Antarctica has led to various theories and conjectures. Some believe that these sightings are evidence of advanced activity, with Antarctica being a strategic location for bases due to its remote and inhospitable environment. Others suggest that these mysterious objects may be linked to secret military operations or advanced experimental aircraft being tested in the isolated region. Another popular theory posits that Antarctica is home to a hidden ancient civilization or remnants of advanced technology from a long-lost era. Proponents of this theory often point to anomalies in satellite images and unexplained structures as evidence for their claims. Investigating these sightings above Antarctica presents a unique set of challenges for researchers. The harsh climate, limited access, and logistical difficulties make conducting field investigations extremely difficult. Additionally, the continent's remote location and limited infrastructure often hinder communication and the sharing of information. Furthermore, the lack of corroborating evidence such as photographs or videos makes it difficult to verify anecdotal accounts of sightings. Finally, the secrecy surrounding military operations and the reluctance of governments to disclose information related to mysterious aircrafts create additional obstacles for researchers attempting to uncover the truth behind these phenomena. As of right now, the mysterious sightings above Antarctica have captivated researchers, enthusiasts, and the general public alike. While many questions remain unanswered, these enigmatic occurrences have fueled intriguing theories and speculation about mysterious activity, secret military operations, and hidden ancient civilizations. As technology continues to advance and access to Antarctica improves, researchers may find new ways to investigate these sightings and unravel the mysteries of the frozen continent. Until then, sightings above Antarctica will continue to captivate our imagination and challenge our understanding of the unknown. Over the years, various stories have been shared by people who've explored this area, and one of these comes from a seasoned captain. In the year 1911, Captain Edward Sullivan, a seasoned explorer and cartographer, embarked on a daring expedition to the Antarctic continent. His goal was to map uncharted territories and uncover the secrets hidden beneath the ice. Little did he know that he would encounter a phenomenon that would challenge his understanding of the world and leave him questioning the limits of human knowledge. Captain Sullivan's journey began with a small crew, each member handpicked for their skills and expertise in navigating the harsh Antarctic environment. Among them was a young and ambitious astronomer named Robert Fitzgerald, who sought to observe the pristine night sky, unblemished by the light pollution of the modern world. As the days turned into weeks, the expedition pushed further into the icy wilderness. Captain Sullivan and his crew faced treacherous conditions, battling fierce winds and freezing temperatures. Despite the harsh environment, the team remained undeterred, driven by their shared passion for exploration and discovery. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the Antarctic sky was illuminated by a stunning aurora. The crew gathered on the deck of their ship to marvel at the breathtaking display of swirling colors. It was then that Robert, gazing through his telescope, noticed an unusual object hovering in the sky. He told the captain to look in the direction of where the object was, and as Captain Sullivan peered through the telescope, he was astonished by what he saw. There, amidst the dancing lights of the aurora, was a metallic object, unlike any he had ever seen. It seemed to defy the laws of physics, moving gracefully through the air as if unbound by the constraints of gravity. For several nights, the object appeared in the sky, each time performing an array of inexplicable maneuvers before vanishing as suddenly as it had appeared. Captain Sullivan and his crew debated the nature of the mysterious object, with some suggesting it was a secret military aircraft, while others believed it to be an advanced craft from a distant world. Determined to uncover the truth, Captain Sullivan devised a plan to approach the object and attempt to communicate with its occupants. As night fell, the crew prepared a series of signal flares, hoping to attract the attention of the enigmatic visitors. When the object reappeared in the sky, Captain Sullivan and his crew launched the flares in a synchronized pattern. To their amazement, the object seemed to respond, emitting a series of bright flashes that mirrored the crew's signal. In the days that followed, Captain Sullivan and his crew continued to communicate with the object, exchanging light signals in a language that transcended words. With each interaction, the crew grew more convinced that they were witnessing a phenomenon far beyond human comprehension. As the expedition neared its end, Captain Sullivan decided to document the encounter in his journal, detailing the strange object and its otherworldly behavior. However, fearing ridicule and disbelief from his peers, he vowed to keep the discovery a secret, known only to the members of his crew. Years later, as Captain Sullivan lay on his deathbed, he entrusted the journal to his closest confidant, Robert Fitzgerald. With a heavy heart, he implored the young astronomer to share the story of their encounter with the world, in the hope that future generations might seek the truth and unravel the enigma of the Antarctic skies. And so the tale of Captain Edward Sullivan and his crew passed into legend, a testament to the boundless curiosity of the human spirit and the mysteries that lie beyond the reach of our understanding. Antarctica, Earth's southernmost continent, has long captivated the imagination of scientists, explorers, and the general public due to its vast frozen landscape and the secrets that lie beneath its icy surface. One such enigma is the mysterious gravitational anomaly located beneath Wilkes Land, a large region in East Antarctica. This massive anomaly has been the subject of extensive research and speculation, with theories ranging from the remnants of an ancient civilization to a massive impact crater. The Wilkes Land anomaly was first identified in the early 2000s, when researchers from The Ohio State University detected unusual gravitational fluctuations while analyzing data from NASA's Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment satellites. The gravity measurements revealed a massive circular structure beneath the ice, approximately 300 miles in diameter and located more than a mile below the surface. This enigmatic feature immediately caught the attention of scientists worldwide, who sought to determine the cause of the gravitational disturbance and the nature of the hidden structure. Since its discovery, numerous scientific expeditions and research projects have been conducted to investigate the Wilkes Land anomaly. Using advanced technologies, such as airborne radar and satellite imagery, researchers have been able to study the subglacial structure in greater detail. Despite these efforts, many aspects of the anomaly remain elusive, and the exact nature of the structure is still a subject of debate among scientists. One of the most significant findings came from a study conducted in 2006 by a team of researchers led by Ralph von Fries and Laramie Potts. Analyzing the gravity and magnetic data from the region, they proposed that the anomaly was caused by a massive impact crater formed by an asteroid collision approximately 250 million years ago. According to their research, the impact event may have contributed to the largest mass extinction in Earth's history, known as the Permian-Triassic extinction event, during which nearly 90% of all species on Earth perished. While the impact crater theory has gained significant traction within the scientific community, alternative theories have also been proposed to explain the Wilkes Land anomaly. Some researchers suggest that the gravitational disturbance could be the result of a massive volcanic structure or a cluster of smaller volcanic formations beneath the ice. This theory is supported by the fact that Antarctica is home to numerous subglacial volcanoes and geothermal hotspots. Another theory, popular among researchers into the unknown, is that the Wilkes Land anomaly could be the remnants of an ancient civilization or advanced technological structure. Proponents of this theory often point to the anomaly's circular shape and seemingly artificial appearance as evidence for their claims. While this theory has not gained widespread acceptance within the scientific community, it continues to fuel speculation and debate among those interested in the Antarctica. The Wilkes Land anomaly is a fascinating enigma that has captured the attention of scientists and the public alike. Its discovery has sparked extensive research and investigation, yet many aspects of the anomaly remain shrouded in mystery. As technology advances and our understanding of Antarctica's geology and history deepens, Researchers may one day unlock the secrets of the Wilkes Land anomaly and unravel the mysteries hidden beneath the Antarctic ice. Until then, this enigmatic feature will continue to challenge our understanding of the Earth and its past, and serve as a reminder of the unexplored frontiers that still await discovery. A Navajo Park Ranger is responsible for protecting and preserving natural and resources in Navajo Nation parks. Some of the specific duties and responsibilities of a Navajo Park Ranger may include patrolling and monitoring park areas to ensure the safety of visitors, park resources, and wildlife, provide interpretive services, including educating visitors about the park's cultural and natural resources and history, maintain and repair park facilities, including trails, picnic areas, and campsites. Interestingly, in recent years, officers have reported seeing strange things in the Navajo Reservation of the American Southwest. This location is known for mysterious and legendary stories, and although many officers don't like to talk about their encounters, some have come forward in recent years and shared some of the things that they've witnessed. This location is known for mysterious and legendary stories, and although many officers don't like to talk about their encounters, some have come forward in recent years and shared some of the things that they've witnessed. Located southeast of Ballard, Utah is a property that has become synonymous in the coming years as being a gateway into another world, being filled with impossible-to-explain occurrences and supernatural encounters. The property has been given the nickname of the Skinwalker Ranch, given the sheer number of encounters over the past few years that seem to only be growing in oddity. Interestingly, the entire area surrounding Utah and the Navajo Nation has allegedly been home to mysterious creatures, with farmers and landowners coming forward with their stories that detail encountering creatures that seem to have the ability to defy all logic, which in turn has caused them to be pushed out of their homes in fear that something might happen to them. One of the issues is that when police officers report these types of encounters, they are usually mocked by the general public. However, the police in Navajo Nation have a different view on things, and they take these sightings and encounters seriously, and will try to look into and understand each report, noting that eyewitnesses are certain that they are seeing something strange, with the officers saying that legends are deeply rooted in the region's history and should be taken seriously. The Navajo Nation Police Department have said that they encourage people to come forward with their encounters and say that each person's encounter will be taken seriously. One Navajo Ranger detailed reports of strange dog-like creatures that have been encountered throughout the region and noted that they have the ability to run at extremely fast speeds, going on to say that they closely match the appearance of a humanoid dog. One Navajo Ranger opened up about some of the things that they've witnessed while being on duty, and said that on one occasion while driving through Crown Point, he could see a mysterious creature chasing his car. He said that he slowed down in order to get a better look at what it was, thinking that it may have been an animal that was injured. However, he quickly realized that he was driving at 30 miles per hour and noted that this creature was able to keep up with him. The ranger said that when he looked in his rear-view mirror, he could see that this creature looked like a giant dog, saying that it ran to the passenger side and bumped the car. At this point, he pulled to the right so he could get a better look at it, and the only way he could describe it was that it looked like a giant wolf. After this, he said he pulled to the side and then slammed his foot on the brake, which caused the creature to run in front of his car, at which point he then switched on the full beams in order to get a better look at it. After the creature was lit up with the headlights, the ranger estimated that the creature must have been around 6 feet in length. The ranger ended his story by saying that the creature only stayed within the full beams for a matter of seconds before it quickly ran off. To this day, he has no idea what this thing was and said that if he had to describe the creature, he said that it looked like a mix between a wolf and a man. All across the United States, there are detailed witness accounts that tell consistent stories of impossible-to-explain humanoid dog-like creatures known as skinwalkers that demonstrate abilities that make the creatures far more supernatural than anything else on Earth. Many encounters are described as being terrifying attacks, whereas others detail origins of an almost otherworldly nature. Where do these creatures come from and what do they want? Described as being a more than 7-foot-tall humanoid dog-like creature with the antlers of deer, the face of a wolf, 2 jointed legs, and large claws located on each hand, stories of the skinwalker found across North America have been cited as originating more than several 1,000 years ago from legends as old as humanity can remember. Native American tribes, regardless of differing religious beliefs and origins, tell consistent tales of the Skinwalker and its dealings. It is from old Navajo legends that the majority of the information surrounding Skinwalkers is known. According to the Navajo tribe, when a tribal member committed a social or unforgivable crime, all of the tribal members would come together and begin to perform a cursing ritual on the guilty tribal member before banishing the member from the tribe forever. Alone and cursed, it was believed that the banished tribal members would undergo animalistic transformations whenever their insatiable desires began to take control, changing them into a humanoid dog-like monster. Other origin stories surrounding the creature claim that, rather than the Skinwalker being a banished or cursed individual, the creature is that of a solitary witch or sorcerer that mastered the ability to perform black magic and is capable of shapeshifting into different creatures. It performs this act by gathering the hide of an animal and wearing it over itself, allowing the sorcerer to take on a humanoid mutated form of the creature that continues to walk on its hind legs. It is due to these tales of shapeshifting, transformation, curses, and humanoid mutated forms that many researchers have made the comparison between the Skinwalker and legends of the werewolf from old European tales. Could this mean that the Skinwalker, once thought to only inhabit the Americas, made its way to the rest of the world? In an effort to tie this creature with even more modern-day sightings, stories of the Dogman Beast, a creature that is commonly seen as being derivative of the werewolf legends of the recent past, seems to contain direct links to that of the Skinwalker. In areas where Skinwalker reportings are common, Dogman sightings are recorded and known to occur just as frequently. Oddly enough, a continuous number of reports surrounding that of dogmen and werewolf-like creatures seem to come from that of the state of Utah, the state in which the Skinwalker Ranch resides. Additionally, both creatures have the uncanny ability to mimic both human voices alongside animal sounds, with stories that dogman encounters and Skinwalker encounters led witnesses into hearing their own voice or a friend's voice repeated to them in perfect cadence and pitch. Similar to the stories in which the Navajo told of the witch being able to take the form of other animals, it appears that the Skinwalker sightings have been paired with other strange humanoid animal hybrids all across North America. If we accept that the stories of strange humanoid creatures across North America are, in fact, encounters with the Skinwalker, what could this tell us about the species and its abilities? According to the National Institute for Discovery Science investigators, the private scientific research team deployed at the Skinwalker Ranch during its 20-year joint investigation for Bigelow Aerospace and the United States government's Department of Defense, the Skinwalker could very well be an interdimensional creature that hops between universes and uses hidden portals found within the mountains, forests, and national parks of our country as entry and exit points into our world. National Institute for Discovery Science researchers claimed that while positioned on a ridge overlooking the area, the team began to notice what they described as a hovering ball of white light through night vision goggles pointed towards one of the middle homesteads of the property. As it hovered about 4 feet off the ground, the witnesses claim that the white ball of light began to open up into an estimated 3-foot-wide circular portal. However, on the night vision goggles, a device that can detect and measure near-infrared and ultraviolet radiation, the portal appeared to be more like a 3-dimensional tunnel hovering above the ground. The researchers then described that an 8-foot-tall, completely black, humanoid creature slowly began to crawl out of the 3-dimensional tunnel, elbowing its way through the portal. The creature then grabbed the edges of the tunnel, pulled itself through, and dropped down 4 feet before running out into the darkness, out of the sight of the researchers watching. Shortly thereafter, the portal began to close in on itself, forming a bright white ball of light before fading in intensity and disappearing entirely. Taking into account this strange sighting and encounter witnessed by the investigators, could this mean that the Skinwalker creature is in fact an interdimensional species that continues to invade our world via the use of self-creating wormholes? If wormholes could in fact be created by the creatures, Einstein had once theorized that due to the nature of the universe as a fabric of space and time, a wormhole could theoretically do more than just connect 2 points of space in a universe and could also connect 2 points in time. According to the reports, there appears to be a substantial amount of evidence for strange connections between the distant past and present across the Skinwalker Ranch. One such story is told surrounding a massive wolf that had been spotted on the Skinwalker Ranch property. The first weekend that the Gorman family inhabited the property, they noticed what they believed to have been a large canine roaming their property nearby their cattle pen. According to the father and eldest son, the canine displayed no signs of aggression whatsoever, and was merely sniffing the ground and slowly walking along the open field before approaching the nearby cattle pen where the Gorman family was standing. Most likely, a little curious as to the creature, a cow approached the large wolf-like canine from behind the fence. Almost in an immediate switch in personality, the wolf reached into the fence with its jaws and clamped onto the face of the cow, trying to pull it through the fence while growling. In an attempt to save their cattle, the eldest son of the Gorman family, Terry Gorman, along with his father, ran up to the wolf-like canine creature and began beating it with large sticks to scare it away, a common tactic used against coyotes, foxes, and wolves trying to get their jaws on livestock prey. However, as the two men began beating the wolf, the creature never flinched and seemed to have been unaffected by the strikes, continuing to clamp down on the muzzle of the cow. Fearing for his cattle, the father of the Gorman family told his son to go into the house and grab a revolver so that he could take out the wolf. When the son came back out, the father immediately took aim at the wolf and fired 4 times, noting that he did this from increasingly close range, starting from only a few feet away. On the 4th shot, the wolf released the calf, but demonstrated no signs of pain and had no visible wounds or bleeding, and began staring at the two men in the pen with a curious look. In fear for their life, the son ran inside and grabbed a rifle for his father, who then let off another round into the creature at about 20 feet, but noticed there wasn't even a slight recoil from the animal and that it didn't let out any yelps of pain. As the father continued to fire, the wolf slowly began walking away down the field. The father and son immediately began chasing the wolf to make sure it would be brought down before it could hurt anyone else, and found its tracks crossing the field and towards a small creek. However, as they continued following the creature's tracks, they found that the footprints suddenly disappeared with no sign of it having left the muddy area it walked into. When the researchers later questioned the two men as to the species of the wolf or canine, providing a number of different pictures of local wildlife, the Gorman family pointed at one specific picture, claiming that the creature in the image was exactly what they saw with 100% certainty. The researchers, puzzled by the image, then alerted the family that it was not possible for the wolf they identified to have been the creature they spotted, as the wolf in the picture was a dire wolf, a species that had gone extinct across North America more than 10,000 years ago. Could this sighting with a dire wolf be evidence that portals even to the distant past are connected with the Skinwalker Ranch? A portal that allowed an extinct species of dire wolf to suddenly appear and then disappear 10,000 years after its extinction? Until more information can be gathered, the portal theory surrounding the origins of the strange happenings on the Skinwalker Ranch remains only a theory. A worker for the Washington State Department of Transportation noticed something moving on one of their cameras. As they zoomed in, they said they could see what appeared to be a large human walking next to one of the trees, saying that it was much larger than a standard human. They then put out a post on social media asking if any hikers had seen anything in the area and requested that people be on the lookout. The Washington State Department of Transportation said that it's not a cardboard cutout and it hasn't been photoshopped. The workers said that they've never been up to the camera and that it's an area that doesn't often get visited by hikers. Some suggested that the photographs show a real humanoid creature, while others said that it could be the outline of a tree that's causing an illusion. However, the workers said this wasn't the case. As of right now, whatever this thing was moved on, as there was no other update from the Washington State Department of Transportation. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that workers have encountered mysterious humanoids, and go on to detail that every so often one of these creatures will show up, leaving those who see it confused. All across North America are reported sightings of the Sasquatch creature, a massive, bipedal humanoid giant covered in hair from head to toe and commonly encountered within or nearby the untamed woods and landscapes found all across the United States and Canada. Oddly enough, not every state or local area across North America refers to the creature as Sasquatch. More commonly, local legends will feature similar descriptions of the creature, but with slight variations in its design alongside differing names. One of the most interesting sightings features a Floridian creature known as the skunk ape, a legendary giant native to the wetlands and swampy state parks, with reports going back several centuries. Located on the border of the state of Florida and Georgia is a 138-acre swampland that stretches across the state borders and houses a wide variety of undiscovered animal and insect species. This peat-filled wetland, referred to as the Okefenokee Swamp, has been at the center of several encounters with the skunk-ape creature and is often believed to be the last unexplored refuge of the creatures in the modern day. Even more interesting, the name Okefenokee is a native Creek Indian word that roughly translates to mean the land of the trembling earth, and seems to reference a massive creature that's known for shaking the earth as it walks. The oldest known skunk-ape encounter to have occurred within the Okefenokee swamp was reported back during the winter of 18/28. According to the report made by 2 eyewitnesses, both of which were amateur hunters who were looking to explore the surrounding area, the 2 men came across what they referred to as a giant. Originally, their expedition began as a short hunting party. But rather than turn back at the height of their excitement, the 2 men's trip continued for another several weeks as they traveled deeper into the swamp, recording brief encounters with bears, panthers, alligators, and overgrown snakes. Roughly 3 weeks into their hunting trip, the men claimed to have heard the sound of loud screaming. However, the screams sounded much deeper and louder than a man could naturally produce. As they glanced around the woods surrounding their camp to investigate the source of the noise, the men then heard what they described as the sound of heavy stomping, as if a large creature was running through the woods surrounding their camp. Unsure of whether or not the creature was a large wild animal or a distressed man, the 2 hunters decided to light a fire and stay within the proximity of their makeshift camp until daylight, as the day was soon ending and darkness was fast approaching. Despite the roaring fire to help keep the nearby woods illuminated, the men complained that they were unable to sleep due to the strange sounds they continued to hear, despite no creature being visible anywhere near their location. Additionally, it became necessary to gather nearby scraps of wood to keep the fire burning, and so the men were forced to venture slightly more and more into the surrounding darkness to maintain their light source. By the next morning, the men investigated the nearby woods and wetlands, hoping to find any evidence of a creature having prowled their camp the night prior. After a few hours of looking, the men claimed that they came across several barefoot human-looking footprints that would have been impossible for any normal person to have made, mostly due to the fact that the footprints were all spaced roughly 6 feet apart and were an estimated 18 inches in length. Worried that the creature might return, the hunters immediately fled the swamp and returned to town. Oddly enough, the story of the encounter with the unknown swamp giant does not end there. Once the 2 hunters returned to the closest town, they told the nearby townspeople of what they had encountered and warned them that a monster might soon attack the town. Fearful of the beast, the town gathered together a hunting party of 9 men to hunt down the beast and take it out before it could attack the town. Gathered together, the men went into the swamp and traveled as far down as its southernmost part, now located in the state of Florida. After several days of searching the area, the men located sets of footprints far too large for any normal man to have created, and used the footprints as a trail guiding them directly to the giant. As the men began following the footprints, they noticed that they were often spaced increasingly further apart, sometimes disappearing completely and reappearing elsewhere in the swamps as if the creature climbed and jumped between trees for traveling. Before long, the trail was completely lost and the 9 men decided to make camp for the night and begin their search again at daybreak. Unfortunately for the band of men, during the night, the creature would invade the camp and attack the hunters in a fit of rage. According to the 9 witnesses, a massive humanoid creature covered in hair all over its body suddenly ran straight through the camp, toppling over several tents, and began tearing apart the equipment and supplies of the traveling men. Fearing for their lives, the men grabbed their weapons and fired at the creature, causing the giant to retaliate by overpowering the men and defeating 5 members of the party, tossing their limp bodies several feet as if they weighed next to nothing. The remaining 4 members continued firing at the creature, sending several rounds of bullets through its chest, before the creature fell down in a low grumble and passed away shortly after. After closer examination of the giant's body, the men estimated the humanoid creature to have been slightly over 13 feet in height and appeared to look exactly like a man with the exception of its tremendous size and full body covering of hair. However, while observing the body, the men continued to hear the sound of screaming in the surrounding woods, similar to what the 2 hunters had experienced on their journey several days prior. Believing that the screaming could be coming from a dozen more of the giant creatures, the men packed up their equipment and began moving out of the swamp during the night, unable to wait until morning out of fear that a retaliatory attack would take place if they continued to stay. Once the 4 men returned to the nearest town, They told the townspeople what happened to the 5 other men who were attacked, and that they estimated that a dozen more of the giant creatures were still out there in the nearby swamps. Fearing that an attack would eventually reach the town, the men began traveling throughout the area and warning people of an impending attack from giants. On the January 1, 1829, a local reporter would interview the men and retell their story for local publishing. By February of that year, less than 30 days after the original publication, reprinting of the story spread to neighboring communities and would see a February issue published in the Connecticut newspaper, warning traveling parties to stay clear of the Okefenokee Swamp. Although continued sightings would be made of giant humanoid creatures in the surrounding areas, later referred to as skunk apes, no violent attack was made over the following years. After a few decades, the sensationalism of the story eventually settled down and became nothing more than a local legend. To this day, travelers are still warned of the Okefenokee swamp giants when traveling through the region. Back in 2023, emergency services were able to locate and rescue a teenager with special needs who had gone missing in the woods in Cherokee County, North Carolina. The rescue was made possible through the use of an image captured by a drone, which assisted in pinpointing the teenager's location. The drone image provided vital information. The Hiwassee Dam Fire Department recently reported that a missing boy was found, thanks to the deployment of drones that were equipped with advanced infrared technology. Through the use of the drone's sensors, the boy's body heat was detected, and this provided crucial information to assist the search efforts of those who were on foot. Ultimately, this enabled the search party to locate the missing teen in a timely manner. After analyzing the data collected by one of its drones, the department reported that a heat signature was detected, which upon further zooming appeared to be a human body lying in the fetal position. This discovery has raised concerns about the safety and security of the area, and the authorities are investigating the incident. The department reported that after detecting the heat signature of the missing individual with a Hamilton County drone, GPS coordinates were marked and rescue personnel were dispatched to the location. The rescue team successfully saved the boy, and he was reunited with his family. This highlights the importance of using advanced technology. According to Chad McNabb, who is the chief of Hiwassee Dam Fire Department, the use of drone cameras during a rescue mission was crucial in locating a missing boy within a short period of time. This new technology proved to be very effective in reducing the amount of manpower required for the mission. By using the drone cameras, the rescue team was able to locate the buoy quickly and efficiently. This helped to minimize the time and resources needed. McNabb mentioned that in the absence of drone cameras, emergency services would have had to conduct grid searches by deploying a large number of people to search the woods and then wait for someone to accidentally come across the missing individual. This would have been a time-consuming and risky task since the chances of finding the missing person would have been uncertain. The Hiwassee Dam Fire Department said the following: "Words cannot express how we feel right now. After a long ground search, the young man was found in good shape. Thanks to all of our members. Over a year ago, Hiwassee Dam FD joined the Tri-State Mutual Aid Association, which is based around the Chattanooga metro area. Tonight is the first time we have called on them. They dispatched Hamilton County Emergency Management with their drones. They responded from Chattanooga and immediately started flying. Their 2 drones and West Polk's drone flew grid patterns for 2 hours. One of the Hamilton County drones picked up a heat signature. Once he was able to zoom, the signature appeared to be someone lying in the fetal position. He was able to mark the GPS coordinates and lead ground searches to the missing juvenile. He was then carried out of the woods and turned over to Cherokee County EMS medics for evaluation. Thank you to all who responded. Once again, training and great relationships with mutual aid partners led to a successful mission. On another note, if you view these pictures, we live in a beautiful part of the country. The first picture is the drone image of the person. Thermal drone finds missing woman in seconds. While we have already seen that drones are able to find and locate people, this next case shows just how impressive this technology can be, with the missing woman being located in just a matter of seconds. In November 2021, a woman in the UK was missing. It was dark, cold, and raining, a terrifying situation for anybody. According to the Nottinghamshire police, the problem was soon on its way to being solved. There were welfare concerns for the woman, with her having been reported missing and only having a rough idea of a location where she might have been, the Beaver Castle region. Time was of the essence. Nottinghamshire police explained how searching traditionally on foot could have taken hours to begin to locate her, though a drone was able to find her within a matter of seconds following takeoff, thanks to the use of its thermal imaging camera. 2 officers were then immediately sent to help the woman rushing towards her within mere seconds. She had been found by the edge of a field and fortunately, she did not seem to have any serious injuries, though was treated by paramedics. In total darkness, a team of officers were able to find a vulnerable woman on a cold, wet night in a large space and safely find her. Usually, the drone team within this police department is deployed to try and search for criminal offenders, help to collect evidence, and search for missing people. The range of uses for drones to help in crime and law are vast and wide. The drone that found the lost hiking family in Florida. Perhaps rightfully so, traveling, hiking, or engaging in any activity with family can often give us a sense of safety. It can give us the sense that even if something goes wrong, there are people around us that can help out and bring us to safety. However, that feeling quickly faded for a family of hikers in Florida when they realized that they were entirely unprepared to continue their hike within the large confines of an almost 2,000 square mile nature preserve. Their leisurely hike in the area turned into a frightening situation, and it was only with the help of a drone that they were found and returned to safety and water. The family had set out into the Blackwater Creek Preserve with the aim to hike and spend some time in nature before they swiftly got lost. The Blackwater Creek Preserve is a conservation area in northeast Hillsborough County, very close to Plant City. The nature reserve offers about 6 miles of hiking ground with lots of sunny, grassy trails winding through the vast trees and pine flatwoods overlooking the creek. As it turned out, the family might not have been lost. Desiree Rodriguez stated that they were dehydrated and had 4 little girls with us on our first time in this place, and that due to the large perimeters of the preserve that they had not expected, an outpouring of support for rescue services and relief for the family's safety was shown in response to the Facebook post. In any case, a drone was sent out after them and found them quickly enough, with the aircraft successfully assisting the deputies and dispatchers find the family's exact location. An 11-minute-long video capturing the footage of this rescue shows the family waiting under the shade of a very large tree. This footage was shared by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, which oversaw the rescue of the family. It also shows a truck making its way toward them to pick them up and take them back to safety. Regardless of whether they were lost or simply unprepared for the hike, it was a relief that the drones were able to locate them. The drone that found a missing man in the marshes. When a person is already quite old and frail, the thought of getting lost in a large area is frightening and even oftentimes dangerous. A man by the name of Peter Pugh, who was 75 years old, disappeared during an evening out with friends and family as the large group was walking together. Mr. Pugh, the chairman of a publishing company called Icon Books and an author of more than 50 books, had been out on a walk at around 5 in the afternoon when he was accidentally separated from the rest of the group. A huge team of people consisting of about 50 individuals set out in search of him, but it was not until a drone was involved that the man was found. The Norfolk Police, assisted by Coast Guard, RNLI Hunstanton, and RNLI Wells Lifeboat and Norfolk Lowland and Search Service started their searches from late that afternoon, and this went on throughout the night all the way until the next day on June 17, 2018. At about 2:30 the next day, 20 hours later, a drone owned by the Norfolk Police and controlled by Sergeant Danny Leach finally discovered Mr. Pugh stuck in a dense bed of reeds and marshland. Having found him there, the sergeant was able to then guide a team of searchers from the Coast Guard and Norfolk Fire and Rescue to Mr. Pugh. The team was then able to rescue him, pulling him from the deep and muddy creeks and consequently providing him with first aid until the Coast Guard sent a rescue helicopter to winch him out. He was taken to Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Kings Lynn where he was treated for hypothermia. After spending an entire night in the marshes, it could have turned out a lot worse. Mr. Pugh, while recovering from his stay in hospital, told reporters that he didn't remember anything from that night. He thanks all the rescuers and stated that he was so fortunate to have been found when he was. His wife also added that he was doing much better, sleeping a bunch, and was recovering from slashes from reeds at his knees. She described his injuries as looking like raw meat, but stated that her husband was a tough old bird and would be just fine. Sergeant Alex Butcher, who was involved in the rescue and helped to coordinate the search operation, confirmed that it would have been nearly impossible to find Mr. Pugh as quickly as they had without the drone. He stated that drones help searchers to search areas that are difficult to access and within a close range where helicopters and other flying technologies may not be able to reach. For the past 24 hours, Peru has been trending on social media, and this is because residents in Peru are allegedly encountering 7-foot-tall entities. In a rural area called Alto Nene, located in the northeastern part of Lima, Peru, residents who've lived in the area for several decades claim to be experiencing constant encounters with 7-foot-tall entities. These mysterious beings are said to have armored bodies and distinct features such as large heads and yellow eyes. The villagers report that these creatures have been consistently. She was approached from behind and suffered a laceration to her neck after she was approached from behind and suffered a laceration to her neck after resisting the attacker. This unsettling event has left community members apprehensive, making it difficult for them to find solace and rest peacefully as they constantly feel threatened. Oddly enough, footage was released of the incident, and those who saw it said they could make out a humanoid-like entity, while others noted that the creature appeared to be more bug-like, who they claim are impervious to their traditional hunting tools. These individuals are calling for assistance from the Peruvian military to ensure their safety against these interstellar trespassers. According to their accounts, the creatures don protective suits and possess an extraordinary ability to float using spherical footwear illuminated by a red light. According to community leader Jairo Riadaguay Avila, he described the individuals as beings from another planet. They seemed to be wearing armor. Jairo even attempted to fire at one of them twice, but they remained unharmed and eventually vanished. This extraordinary occurrence has caused great fear and concern within the community. Locals who live in the area have been told to take protective measures against the entities, while military officials have said that they are investigating the incident. The advanced beings have been compared to palacaras by certain villagers who perceive them as peculiar creatures that supposedly consume locals. The authorities have conducted a visit to the vicinity and explored the outskirts of the village, which includes the site where the woman was attacked. Nonetheless, it remains uncertain whether any substantiating evidence was discovered to validate the assertions made by the villagers, or whether the government intends to dispatch military personnel to the area for an extended duration. Interestingly, Peru has a rich history of mysterious sightings and encounters. Perched in the western region of South America, Peru boasts a rich tapestry of history, culture, and natural wonders. Yet, amid the majestic Andean mountains and ancient archaeological sites, a different kind of enigma haunts the Peruvian skies. Peru has been a hotbed of activity for decades, with numerous reports of unidentified objects in its airspace. The fascination with unidentified objects is not new to Peru. In fact, some enthusiasts argue that evidence of sightings can be found in ancient Peruvian art and artifacts. Certain pottery and textiles from pre-Columbian cultures depict figures with peculiar headgear and elongated shapes, which some interpret as evidence of contact or advanced technology. Over the years, Peru has witnessed numerous sightings reported by civilians, pilots, and even government officials. In 1952, a prominent sighting occurred in Arequipa when multiple witnesses reported seeing a disc-shaped object flying at high speeds in the sky. Similarly, in 1980, a Peruvian Air Force pilot reported encountering an unidentified object while on a training mission. These are just a few examples of the many sightings that have been documented over the years. Some have speculated that these objects have a connection to the mysterious Nazca Lines. The enigmatic Nazca Lines, a series of ancient geoglyphs etched into the desert floor, have also fueled speculation about advanced involvement. Some theorists propose that the precision and scale of the Nazca Lines could only have been achieved with the assistance of advanced technology, possibly of advanced origin. As with most sightings, possible explanations for the sightings in Peru vary. Skeptics often attribute the sightings to natural phenomena, such as meteors, weather balloons, or aircraft misidentifications. However, some researchers argue that the patterns and characteristics of the sightings suggest more than mundane explanations. The presence of military installations in certain areas has also led to theories about experimental aircraft and top-secret technology. Sightings in Peru carry cultural and historical significance beyond the realm of popular belief. The association between unidentified objects and ancient civilizations, such as the Nazca Lines, sparks debates about the origins and achievements of these cultures. The incorporation of law into Peruvian mythology and folklore reflects the enduring fascination with the unknown and the supernatural. Peru's sightings have had an unexpected impact on tourism. Certain areas known for activity, such as the Nazca Lines, attract enthusiasts from around the world. Tours and events centered around these unidentified sightings have become a niche part of the tourism industry in Peru. The Peruvian government has also taken an interest in these sightings, particularly those that occur in or near military installations. The Peruvian Air Force has an office dedicated to investigating reports, known as the Department of Investigations of Anomalous Aerial Phenomena. While most sightings are likely attributed to natural or man-made phenomena, the Department of Investigations of Anomalous Aerial Phenomena aims to collect data and investigate the more unexplained cases. Peru's rich history and mystical landscapes have inspired a curiosity about the possibility of advanced civilizations. The allure of these sightings invites a quest for answers about our place in the cosmos and the mysteries that may lie beyond our current understanding.